more activity than really fits in 12 minutes, but we are going to try to do it anyway.
It's so much fun.
It is really fun. So at the station, we're talking about soil cation exchange capacity, soil anion exchange capacity, and soil texture. And so all of these things have to do with the mineral particles that soil is made from. And I'm going to try and run us through it a little bit faster this time, I guess, so that we can actually see the connection between cation exchange capacity, anion exchange capacity, and soil texture. So we have different stations that have been set up, used, and now we're going to try and rapidly set up again. And I can do intro and get people going, and then Charlotta's going to set it up. She's got this. So we have 3 different types of soils here today. We've got a soil collected from the roadside that's kind of like a coarse textured, and then we have 2 different soils collected from different gardens here at the farm. So one's from a more uphill area, and then one is from slightly downhill of that, and it definitely seems like they have slightly different textures. So we're thinking that we'll probably see a difference between these soils and their texture, and also their ability to retain both cations, so positively charged ions, and negatively charged anions. How many people do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exactly 10. Amazing. So what we're going to have you do is split up into pairs, and then you are going to come over to this little table, and we have the 3 different soil samples already weighed out for you. So the right amount that you'll need for the CEC and AEC activity. So each pair is going to grab 2 pre-weighed tins of the same kind of soil, and then whichever soil you got, you bring it over to your little chemistry station, which will be set up by the time you've got it, and then you're going to come back over to the plates. Remember which kind of soil you grabbed, and you're going to grab enough to fill your little hand. So if you're wearing gloves, I'm very sorry. You'll have to remove them for this activity. But you're going to grab the corresponding soil, just a handful from the plate. And then if you come back over to your station, we'll have instructions for both doing the texture. We're going to do a method where you can actually just determine the texture by feeling it. And then there's a super fun chemistry activity to look at the CEC and AEC.
So 2 tins over there and then back to get the same soil?
Yeah. 2 tins, same soil. Sound good? Pairs. Go.
Let's see. We want to make sure we have a blue one over here. Why not?
In practice.
Do we need? Are we doing this first, or do we need our
The
handful
texture
first?
is probably good to do first.
Yeah,
Let's see so that you get a little idea of what you have.
Yeah,
Great.
and so the texture has 2 sides to it. It's got a flow chart with instructions for determining the texture, and then if you flip it around to the back side, this is the textural triangle. It tells you about the percentage of sand, silt, and clay in a soil based on the texture class that you determine by feeling the soil.
Okay. Is this water, and we can add that to the
That is water.
Yep,
you can
that
use
is
that.
that you can use. Yeah,
And water.
Okay, so like moist putty.
Are you okay if I add a drop?
Yes. Okay.
So drop wise? What does that mean?
Use-
Need the soil
No,
into
you
a
need a
sniffer
little
different
extra
if you
soil
that.
that
Okay.
over there,
Yeah.
and just remember the same that you took for that.
Yep.
Is key.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my extra pile.
Feel
Into a
it.
smooth and plastic consistency. Does it feel like that? You need more water?
Yeah.
I need a little bit more water.
Yeah, the way I like to do that is kind of just like a bunch and just like mush it around with like one hand.
Add water if you feel like it's too dry. So
And it kind of gets messy. Sorry, everyone who works in this barn.
Place of all this soil.
But you can like feel it become a little bit more. It like almost becomes like foam feeling, at least in certain soil textures, and that's how I know that I've like gotten it moist enough.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to like really get in there when you're doing the texture. like
Do you feel like you need more water?
really get in there.
Okay, so now we push the. Nope. Okay, I guess we do need more water.
Well, wait. It might be. It says, "Does the soil form a ribbon?" Right?
Have you formed your ball yet?
Yes.
Okay.
But then the ball broke apart. So I think we have sand on our hands.
You may have a loamy sand on your hands. Is this from the roadside, perhaps?
It is. It makes sense. Okay. All right. So okay, we have loamy sand.
Septic clay. That's fine. I think it's the ribbons.
Sandy loam.
Sandy.
Yeah,
I need to.
loamy sand.
Yeah.
Yes. Right here. So it's a lot of sand. It's like 90% sand.
100% sand.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what they before got
So
the
now.
same thing if you were on the roadside. Yeah.
Gently pushing it.
Yeah, you guys are doing it right. Sort of like squeeze it out of your hand like this, sort of like you're doing, and then now you've got a little piece. And
Right.
you're sort of trying to estimate how long is
Right,
that
the
ribbon.
thickness and the width.
Yeah.
Telling you about the
Water in. Should we
How are you guys doing in your texture?
Right. Forms a weak
determines.
What do you think? So
Yeah, I hear you.
somewhere between those.
Absolutely right.
Does with cations and anion exchange
Yeah.
capacity.
Okay.
Adults need filters.
So that's going to be,
Okay.
those instructions are on the next sheet.
So moisten a pinch in the palm.
Yeah, so then you
rub it?
take a little bit and you make it actually really wet. And what you want to do is like smear it
Oh,
all
so
over.
you
You
can
can
feel
add a
the
little bit
particle
more.
size?
Exactly, so that you can feel like even if you close your eyes, you're like, oh, is this like gritty or slippery or yeah, what does that feel like? Mostly, can you feel any sand?
Nice.
Yeah.
Which
it's
one?
definitely
Which one was this?
So I would call this
The uphill gardens?
sandy.
Or the
I just went dry route.
Nice. Cool. That sounds like.
There's a lot of there's grains in there, but
Thank
there's
you guys
a
are
lot
on
of
it. I think that
suspended
you are ready
particles.
to figure out the CEC and the AEC of the soil.
Hey, is that me? That's me. Where's the?
When divide in half.
Oh no,
I think that'll work.
that'll work.
I'm not.
I've not been able to.
I think
I don't even rip it like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was like, wait a minute, this is
It's like
Wow, I didn't even know you could
just
do
falls
that.
right
I was
apart.
ripping in the other
So-
way.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
started
like-
to do. I was like, that?
I think
You
it's
normally use a cotton ball, and I couldn't find it.
sandy clay alone.
So that goes like in here,
So you guys
and
can
it's
use
really
this
just to hold the soil from not falling into the glass. So that's really, and so you wanna, if your soil is like this, it's okay right now to like squish it out so that it becomes a little more pulverized.
Okay, so we're using
And then you wanna put that like in here.
we're using these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly, you're using that, so feel free to like make it a little more pulverized and then put it in. And you're gonna use the stuff in your
Yeah, and you
trays.
can use the things in the trays.
Perfect. And this is the exact amount.
That is the exact.
We're gonna put the whole thing
I don't know.
in.
Putting it for me,
Yeah.
it could be.
Dumping the whole thing in a little pile.
Above the, sorry.
Yep.
Above
Yep.
the cotton's okay.
Yep. That is totally good.
you miss that
Above the cotton is great.
I don't think it's too.
Did I miss? Do we have one more ribbon station?
We do.
Right. I don't think it's that.
No, we don't.
Okay,
We have
yeah,
5,
I
right?
think it's
There's one here.
one of these.
That should be right.
Yeah.
We don't have any of the what? The cotton?
do.
Oh, it's right here.
You do.
Thank you. Sorry. That's all right. So what are we supposed to do? We put it in here.
But then they go in like
Okay,
this.
So the amounts that are in your little tin are going to be the
think
amounts
it's
that you need
used
for the CEC and
It's half and half. Yeah. I was trying to feel like
Buy a
it's
small
smooth.
cotton
There's
ball in half.
equal parts.
Make a little indent with your finger.
Okay.
to, like,
Place
So
one
let's-
half in the bottom of 2
Let's
funnels.
see.
and you put, like,
Okay, now what do we do with this?
20 blue in one and 20 red in the other? Is that right?
And we just, how do we prepare the sample?
So you want to squish this up
Okay.
so that it becomes a little bit more of a powder.
Make a
Yeah.
small
And then you're gonna
indentation in your
divide
soil.
this in half, which I didn't know you could do this way,
Add
which
20
I'm gonna
drops.
just try.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
Holy cow, I've never done that before.
Add 7. Oh, this one.
That
Add
goes
7
in
grams of
first,
soil.
and it's just to prevent the soil from just dumping
Running
into
out.
the.
We're doing better this time.
Yeah.
Is it
milliliter in these guys.
Yep, so you guys have pretty powdered stuff. You can probably just dump it in.
there? Okay.
Yeah.
I think think it says 0.5.
And the other one.
So it's 1 milliliter
Is
at
it
the
1
top.
milliliter per?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So 20 drops.
20 drops of red in one and 20 drops of blue in the other.
Like full squirt glass.
Yeah, just kind of in the same spot like you're doing. That's perfect.
Great. So 20 and 20.
Yep, and you can always make like a little oh, there's a little indent. I can put it right in there.
Oh, like a, yep.
Until the water starts coming out.
Yeah, so what we're looking for is for the water to come out the bottom and to see is there dye in that water.
Oh yeah, there's dye in that blue.
Awesome. Yeah, just gently.
And what is the dye?
So the dye, this one is positively charged,
Okay.
and this one is negatively charged. And it's to see if your soil can hold on to positively charged ions and negatively
water
charged
in
or
1
not.
milliliter
Okay.
increments.
And then, yeah. And if you look at the color of the dye compared to what's going to come,
I mean, it's
so 20
definitely
drops,
like
yeah.
if you look at the color of the
And you
dye
can start
itself,
adding
like,
Yeah.
so how much
water
of that
into it,
is,
and the
like, still
milliliter
stuck to
is
your
this
soil.
little edge right there.
Coming out
20
too.
drops.
Yeah. About 6.
There's a lot of. I feel like more blue is still in the soil than red.
Yeah, so look at the difference in the color.
How many
Like
drops?
from your dye.
Yeah, so we're
to
very
the-
light. we have very light colors,
Yeah,
so we're
we're
holding
very
on
light.
to more anions
Okay.
and cations in a clayier soil. So
You're holding on to lots of cations for sure.
Yeah, so
So in a
the
high
soil is
cation
probably
exchange
holding on
capacity.
to
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Which makes sense with your texture,
Yep.
right? Because
I
the
think
clay is pretty.
The thing that's going to be
But it's kind of
helpful
cool
is
to. I mean, if you
see a
kept
group
adding
that has
water,
a different
it's going to take.
texture of soil.
At some point, it just
if
doesn't
that's
go.
different texture.
Huh?
I
think you're getting some. The soil.
No, it's the you do it until
I didn't even
it
add
has some dye.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that was already in there before.
Has password contains some dye. Okay. For the volume of water, I probably
Till
went
it
too far.
starts, yeah, till it starts running.
So we have somebody down here with a sandy.
I feel like that's
Look at the difference between the sandy texture and the clay.
color.
Yeah, I can
so
see
we're
that.
like losing the negatively charged
Yeah.
things because like
It's very different,
mostly
right?
have the minerals that can hold on to the positive charges. And clay minerals in
So we have
particular,
low.
Yeah, so this is yeah, and the red. So even that is different, right? They're holding on to actually some.
those clays
So
have
the
more
anions
and more
are
of the
mostly
negative
held on by
charged
organic
spots.
matter.
And
So it's
what I really
possible
wanna
that you have
see
more
is, like,
organic matter
just
than
that
they do in
inside,
their
like,
soil.
coarse textured soil.
Yeah.
And
Because your
does that
texture won't
have-
tell you that.
I
The
would
texture
expect
won't
that
tell
to
you
have
here's
a
what's
stronger
in
color, so like a
not
lower
It's not really part of
cation
that.
exchange capacity. So it's going to probably not be as good at holding on to those charged particles.
Right. What kind of texture did you guys have? We had the, texture, we had silty clay, I think. And so is that kind of similar.
Yeah. How did the
silty
cation
clay.
exchanges compare? What was your blue one looking like? Oh wow, look at that. Is this your
That's the blue one. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so a really high cation exchange capacity. It's really holding on to that dye in the soil. You're like
Oh,
not
you
getting
got some
come out
coming
of
there.
the
You can
water.
give it a little more water. Don't be too shy with that, so you can start seeing that that's
down
Yeah.
pretty.
It's pretty
You guys
light.
are
It's
up.
pretty light, right?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
like.
more
was
clay.
probably clay here, or
You had probably more
organic?
clay,
Yeah.
just a little
Yeah.
bit.
And definitely.
That's pretty light too.
Yeah, compared to the, so that would indicate that even though this kind of, fits
it's
with
cool
your
that it
clay,
works, because
that
I
the
know,
clay is
like,
holding,
what's
but
supposed to
anion
happen
exchange
when
capacity
it
is
happens.
often
And I
organic
think
matter
that
that can
we
do that,
are
and the clay
at our
can't
time
really.
of
So
observation.
at least it tells you, hey, I got some organic matter in here that might be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the difference between yours and the sandy texture,
Right.
I mean, there's a
Hanging
big
on to it.
difference, right? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
We also had to add a bunch of water.
All right, quickly.
Quickly!